But what a week it's been for the BBC. I mean, they're in the middle of a new storm, apparently, with some real wild accusations about Nigel Farage popping up just as Ofcom drops a big report on how the BEEEEER's doing, which obviously isn't exactly going to be too good, is it? Apparently, all this kicked off when Lisa Hilton, who's written some bestsellers and even apparently done some documentaries for the BBC, actually kind of spilled the beans in the Critic magazine. She apparently mentioned that makeup artists at the BBC have been using some, shall we say, seriously unusual natural cosmetics on Farage. I mean, she says she's not going to name names, but Nigel Farage might just want to start doing his own face, given the extraordinary imaginative range of natural cosmetics which the brushes are loaded with when he's in the chair. Then the Mail, or Daily Mail rather, took it up a notch, claiming that these cosmetics might include such things as human saliva, or I'm guessing spit in other words, and other bodily fluids, which, yeah, that doesn't sound too great at all, does it? And actually quite disgusting. Farage's pals were, of course, not happy about this, quite understandably, and his mate Angie Wigmore called it sick. Andrew Brooks said it would be vile if it was true, and Farage's team hasn't said much, but there has been some tension between him and the BBC for a while now. And he got quite angry after a recent special edition of Question Time, where he took audience questions for half an hour. And he then took to X saying, "I've just been invited to appear on Laura Kuenssberg. I'm refusing until the BBC apologises for their dishonest Question Time audience. Our state broadcaster has behaved like the political actor throughout this election. Reform will be campaigning vigorously to abolish the licence fee, and a bloody well good job too. I personally think as soon as that nasty, outdated tax, in my opinion, ends, the better." And of course, don't know what you all think about that. I'm sure you probably agree with me. Meanwhile, of course, Ofcom has released its annual report on the BBC's performance from April 2024 until March 2025. And this report, apparently, is based on loads of audience research and industry data. And apparently it's going to play a big part in the upcoming government Royal Charter review. Despite this, of course, and the political drama, the report found that the BBC is still widely used and, strangely in my opinion, trusted. A whopping 83% of adults use the BBC services every week in 2024/2025, and the overall audience satisfaction was at 60%. Now remember, this was in March. It hasn't taken account of at all the recent, shall we say, Donald Trump drama there, where the BBC were found out to be, let's face it, appearing to be honest, less truthful than, shall we say, Keir Starmer or Rachel Reeves, if you know what I mean. Among regular TV news viewers, 70% thought its accuracy was apparently top-notch. I wonder how many of them work for the BBC, but anyway. And 68% found it trustworthy. But Ofcom also pointed out that the BBC is facing a significant crisis in its editorial decision-making. You see, they said the BBC needs to get a tighter grip and take quick, transparent action whenever there's a controversy or editorial slip-up. Well, yeah, they really do need to do that, don't they, eh? But keeping audience trust is a top priority for the BBC, apparently. You wouldn't have thought it, but it was, as it gears up for its next charter period. And Ofcom apparently is going to dig deeper into what makes people trust the BBC News, with more details coming out early on next year. So to be honest, that will be quite interesting to see, won't it? If that is Ofcom aren't, shall we say, given a bit of money to keep hush-hush, hopefully that will not happen. The report also mentioned that a few areas where the BBC could do better indeed need to connect more with less satisfied audiences, including those on lower income, and apparently also take more creative risks to keep viewers engaged on the platforms that they love. I personally think something the BBC could do, which would be brilliant for everyone, is to get rid of their outdated TV licence and go either the ad or subscription route. That way, there'll be companies funding the BBC, not you or me. But Ofcom will now chat with the government as part of the Charter review to figure out how the BBC should be regulated in the future and how it can keep up with both traditional broadcasting and the digital world without dodging scrutiny. Either way, I am hoping at this next Charter review, the TV licence will be abolished, and the sooner that happens, the better. And I think it's got a much better chance of happening if Nigel Farage's Reform Party are in. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens, won't we? Especially if, who knows, we may even get an election earlier than what we thought, if you know what I mean. But anyway, let me know what you guys think down in the comments.